Well, the Durham Report was released 10 days ago, and the indifference from the mainstream media, both here and in the United States, is frightening. To recap, lawyer John Durham was appointed in October 2020 to investigate matters related to intelligence activities arising from the 2016 presidential election. It took him 3.5 years to officially conclude what Donald Trump had been telling the world, and which most intelligent people instinctively knew to be correct, that the accusations that he colluded with Russia to win the 2016 election were totally, uncategorically false. They weren't even based on remote facts. The entire story was a fabrication from the start. They included a fanciful story about a Moscow prostitute and allegations of Trump liaising with shady Russians and Vladimir Putin to undermine American democracy. The allegations achieved enormous cut-through in the gullible mainstream media. Even our own ABC flew a team over to the United States to produce a 3-part investigation series that journalist Sarah Ferguson called The Story of the Century.
Do you have any doubt at all about Putin's authorship of the campaign against America?
I do not.
If you've got a big enough bag of cash, he'll do business with you, no questions asked.
The Russian collusion delusion is the greatest political dirty trick of all.
It sounds like something out of a Cold War novel, but the reality is deadly serious.
Oh, it's more serious than that, Sarah. The reality involves one of the worst cases of political corruption in history, which journalists like yourself have now mysteriously lost interest in. Durham says the FBI pursued the allegations, quote, without any significant review of its own intelligence databases, collection and examination of any relevant intelligence from other US intelligence entities, interviews of witnesses essential to understand the raw information it had received, or using any of the standard analytical tools typically employed by the FBI in evaluating raw intelligence. Had the FBI followed its own guidelines, Durham reported, it would have learned that, quote, their own experienced Russia and analysts had no information about Trump being involved with Russian leadership officials, unquote. It's impossible to overstate how corrupt that is. It borders on treason, a crime punishable by death. Worse, this whole incident was in cahoots with the Democrat Party, with the explicit intention of undermining the 2016 presidential election. When that plan failed to eventuate, the losers continued to throw mud at the elected president, Donald Trump, in order to stymie his time in office. Government bureaucracies in liberal democracies were established with the understanding that a level of professionalism and a sense of duty would always prevent the abuse of power. Those days are well and truly over. This is a war to save the institutions on which American democracy are based. A war that is being fought in various other ways here in Australia as well.